You're not telling me you're not there. Ready? Alderman Cadella?
Here.
Alderman Coles? Alderman Lewitton?
Here.
Alderman Police? Here. Alderman Shockey?
Here.
Alderman Eugene Wesley?
Here.
Alderman Roy Wesley?
Here.
Alderman Winger? Mayor Johnson?
Here, quorum be present. Would you stand and join me in the Pledge of Allegiance? Council, without objection, I'm going to move down to Mayor's report. And at this time, we have a special guest with us tonight. I'd like to recognize the president of the DuPage County Forest Preserve, Dewey Parati. If you could go to the podium, so also those at home can hear your comments.
Well, thank you very much for allowing me to be in front of your group today. I know most of your aldermen on mainly on informal basis, and certainly I've known the mayor for many years. And the reason I asked to come here today is on a, like I said, I meet most of you on an informal basis, but I wanted to be here on a formal basis to personally, and then also on behalf of the Forest Preserve, to thank you, Your Honor, and the members of your group, all your aldermen, and the people in the audience for your patience, your understanding, and your cooperation over the years. We know we've had a lot of problems in this area with respect to flooding and other instances, and I just wanted to come here and tell you on a personal note that we're aware of those. We're trying to resolve those, but you have to understand that this is a big county, as your attorney will allege to vouch for, and we have to make considerations, and sometimes you have an excellent representative here from the Forest Preserve, and Marcia Murphy, and she calls all your concerns that you address to her to my attention, and we tried to address those. Unfortunately, you have 5 other members that really aren't that much interested in what's going on in this part of the county. We have some unique problems and some unique concerns, and I just wanted to, again, thank you for your cooperation, and I want to open up the line of communication. I want to make certain that you're aware of the fact that when you have a problem, I want you to either call Marcia Murphy directly, your representative, or call me, and we could somehow get to those problems and try to address them as quickly as possible. Now, I know there has been a lot of discussion and a lot of concerns about what's going on in the Salt Creek area, and that operation we had where the Forest Preserve, under a special grant from Pate Phillip, was purchasing property along Salt Creek. Unfortunately, we all know what the state of the economy is down in Springfield, and what's happened is that money that was specifically allocated for purchase of properties in that area has been diverted. And for example, the last 3 purchases we made, the Forest Preserve has expended over $1 million, and we haven't gotten reimbursement. But as soon as we get reimbursed from that, we'll open up that program as quickly as possible, because that funding is a specific fund that shouldn't be tied into the general revenue bonds, not revenue bonds, the budget. In addition, now you probably want to know what's going on at Oak Meadows because of the fire. I just want to let you know that we finally resolved the damage over there, and we're in the process that within the next 2 weeks the demolition of the building will start. And currently we have a group of architects and engineers evaluating the entire operation of the golf course and making specific recommendations what we're going to do there. My personal thing is that what we don't have in this area that we have in other areas of the county is an educational facility, a big educational facility that could be used by the seniors, by the youth, and it would be tied in not only to the golf operation, but other educational purposes. As many of you are aware of, we have a lot of experts on the staff of the Forest Preserve that really handle a lot of major things. As a matter of fact, we have continuing education programs for teachers throughout the county, and we would like to expand that and maybe have that as a real educational center and tie it in with the recreational areas that are available at the Oak Meadows and then at the Maple Meadows, and then we have right there with Wooddale Grove fishing area and all that. So we need this in this part of the county. So again, I want to thank you. I wasn't here for any, I just really just wanted to say thank you. I wanted to make certain that I let you made you aware of the fact that we want to open up the line of communications, because sometimes we have problems and people assume that we're aware of them, and we're not. And we can't address them unless we are made aware of them. You have a pretty good active citizens group that has been in contact with me, and sometimes we can't get through everything as quickly as we want to, but believe me, we do try to address all your needs. And again, that's all I have. I want to thank you for your time. I'm looking forward to working with you and your staff in the future. And if you have any questions, I'll try to answer them, but that's it. I just say thank you.
You answered my question.
Well, thank you, President Parati, for your commitment on behalf of all the citizens for open space and the preservation of open space in DuPage County, and past participation, if I can talk tonight, on the buyouts up and down the creek. That's greatly appreciated, along with your help on the reservoir. Before you leave tonight, Christmas is going to come early, and the president of our Stormwater Committee would like to present you with a short wish list. I think a few $1 million here or there ought to cover everything that's on the list.
Okay.
So if you would mind taking a seat for a minute, we have a presentation from Dory Parati, and then we'll have comments from the alderman. Madonna, sorry.
You better get what she's asking for. Dory Madonna.
Am I under oath?
I know what the mayor is.
The first thing I'd like to do is to thank Dewey Parati for all the help he has already given us regarding the reservoir area. We have had picnic tables added with shade. There have been benches added. The county, through Mr. Parati and the Forest Preserve District, have put in a comfort station. It's not a permanent one, but it is something that the people who use the area had requested. So we went to thank him, especially for all the efforts that he has already done. There is a bike walking path around the reservoir, which many people already are enjoying. However, like all municipalities and cities, we have some requests, particularly in the light of the fact that there has been money set aside when the airport had taken over certain areas, and we are hoping, since that was in District 1, that we could use those funds to the maximum in our area. Some of the things that we would like would be to purchase some additional land. The Forest Preserve, again, has purchased the Weihofen property, which will expand the area around the reservoir, hopefully, and this is another one of our requests, because the Weihofen property had been there, we'd like to see it again grassed in, have a small picnic grove area there with grills, and also hopefully a permanent comfort station, rather than a temporary one. Something that many people again have talked about is the possibility, in addition of having a walking path and a bike path, to develop that area into a fitness path. This is something that is being done in many other states. Some of it is fairly simple. It's signage, like in other words, let's do so many of this type of exercise. Sometimes it involves small equipment that is permanent, but that is fairly stable and easy to use. This would be a great help, and I think it would be the first one in DuPage County. I believe the mayor and Mr. Parati mentioned our biggest problem of flooding is along the creek. Some of these homes have been flooded in the last year 3 or 4 times. Some of the residents have approached us and said, could you please buy us out? There are some older residents that really don't want to be displaced, but would very much like to see if this could be, if they could have life estates. that is another one of our requests. We'd also like to see the development of the lots along the creek into a walking path, bike path, and an area, again, with some picnic tables and perhaps a small nature center. Again, another way of incorporating this nature center would be, as Mr. Parati had stated before, and that would be if you are going to provide an educational center where the golf course was, perhaps we can do both at the same time. We understand that DuPage County has a nursery, and if they could work with the city of Wooddale in allowing us to have some of their trees, perhaps we can do additional planting of trees in the reservoir area and or along the bike path. And finally, where we could really use a lot of help is there are areas that abut the forest preserve, such as Aspen and Iroquois and Cedar, where we have had severe flooding. And if there was some way with cooperation of the forest preserve that we could improve the drainage in that area, it would be extremely helpful. And we will be very happy to give you a written copy of our request. And we thank you for your time and for listening.
Well, I think the best way to get action done is if you would submit that to me in writing. Now, with respect to the individual properties, normally the Forest Preserve doesn't get involved in buying individual properties. That's really a stormwater unit of the county government. The reason we got involved in Salt Creek, it was a specific proposal by Senator Pate Phillip at that time to get money for that specific use. Now, I don't want to speak for another entity of government, but the county has in the past gone in certain areas of DuPage County and purchased individual properties that were prone to flooding. Now, as you probably know, next Tuesday, the DuPage County is going to meet, their board is going to meet with respect to issuing capital improvement bonds. I think that you should, just as a note of advice, and that I think you should notify your local representatives and make certain that these needs that you have in this area would specifically refer to the stormwater problems are addressed. And maybe you can get some sort of commitment from them as to how much money they could allocate for this part of the county for doing that. With respect to your other things, please put them in writing. I would be, as soon as I get them, we'll sit down and I'll have one of my planners sit with you, and maybe you could, if you have some basic designs of some landscaping concepts and things of that nature, we'll get it in work. Because as you know, everyone works on a budget cycle, and if we don't get it in the process, what happens is the answer is, well, we'd love to do it, but we can't fit it in this cycle. We'll have to wait for another year. So let's get together. That's why I'm here. I want to make certain that you all know that we want to address your concerns. I've lived in this area for over 40 years, so these concerns of people in Wooddale, Bensonville, and Addison are very dear to my heart because, like I said, I've lived here forever. And so, again, thanks for your past support. I can assure you that we will take action on your requests, make certain you give them to me as soon as possible. And again, thank you. Thank you for the opportunity of addressing this body. Thank you.
And thank you for your service. And that brings us back to approval of minutes. Is there a motion?
I'll make the motion to approve the minutes.
Is there a second? On the question? If not, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, motion carries. Do any citizens wish to address the council this evening? If so, if you go to the podium and give us your name and address, please. I do not have any written communiques. That brings us to item B under Mayor's Report. May I have a motion to approve an ordinance amending Chapter 5, Article 3, Section 5305 of the Municipal Code to add one GS liquor license. This would be for the Thornton gas station. Is there such a motion?
I'll make the motion.
Is there a second?
I'll second it.
On the question? Alderman Wesley.
Mayor, I understand that, that liquor license was approved, was approved. Now, that liquor license is not going in effect until they are full operation and signed off on everything, am I correct?
Mr. Bond.
The action that's before the council this evening is simply to authorize the additional GS, which is a gas station liquor license. The license will not be issued, and it's issued by the mayor as, in his capacity as a liquor commissioner. That will not be issued until everything has been done, all the work has been done, and all of the necessary checks and background and everything has been done to the satisfaction of the city in working in conjunction with the chief and the deputy chief. And once that has been completed, then it'll be submitted to the mayor for a determination as to the issuance of the license itself.
So the ordinance that I'm reading here is just mainly to authorize this license and not to execute this license, am I correct?
That's correct.
Thank you.
Alderman Shockey.
I know we're committed to this, but at the same time, I do have that basic problem of not mixing gas and alcohol, so I'm going to have to vote against it.
Okay, anything further? Roll call.
Alderman R. Wesley?
Yes.
Alderman Winger?
Yes.
Alderman Lewitton? Alderman Cadella?
Yes.
Alderman Shockey?
No?
Alderman E. Wesley?
Yes.
Alderman Police?
Yes.
How did I vote?
You're a little slow.
Alderman Lewitton.
Yes.
Thank you.
All right, that passes ordinance O-10-10. That concludes my report, Mr. Manager.
Two things, Mr. Mayor. Number one, just a reminder that the meeting normally scheduled for next Thursday, the 9th, has been canceled. And of more importance, we are planning on rolling out the new garbage toters on Monday and Tuesday, the 13th and 14th. We've begun identifying or notifying the citizens by notifications in their water bill, in the city newsletter, on our cable channel, on our website, on the reader boards. Soon to come is Reverse 911. And finally, in front of you tonight is a brochure that ARC has put together that they will put out in conjunction with the rollout of the containers on a week from Monday and Tuesday. We've gone over this with a fine-tooth comb several times. We think all of the relevant questions have been answered on this. And as you can see, when you look at this, we have ARC's number multiple times during this, and if the residents have any questions, they can either give them a call or give us a call. We also have a meeting set for next Thursday with ARC and our representatives so that everybody's on the same page and this can be as seamless as possible. If there are any questions, I'll answer them. If not, that concludes my report.
Alderman Shockey.
And speaking with the seniors earlier this week, they expressed that that very large one would be too big, and they'll be asking for the middle or smaller one, and they were wondering how they go about that. Is that explained in this
I
mail?
believe it is. The default sizes will be 95 for garbage and 65 for recycling. If they find that's too big, they can either call us or call ARC, and they'll be changed out at no charge. So it might be a week or two before the changeover can go, but ARC wants to make sure that they've got a good handle so they order only that amount that they need. If these were generic carts, it wouldn't be a big deal, but they're all going to be stamped with the Wooddale logo, so they're sort of customized to us, and they don't want to get too much of an inventory. But yeah, we've got that covered, and if they've got a concern about that, let us know, let ARC know, and the changeover will come.
Thank you.
Is everybody's printing as bad quality as mine is, or is this just one bad,
This is pretty bad.
it's a little fuzzy? Any other comments or questions?
Question.
Alderman Lewitton.
Wally, under yard waste, just want to ask you a question. I'll read this. It says, biodegradable bags and cans must not exceed 32 gallons in size, 50 pounds in weight. Brush must be bundled, not exceeding 4 feet in length, 2 feet in diameter, and 50 pounds in weight. Are you sure that's correct? 2 feet? 2 feet and 2 feet by 4 feet? That'd be a pretty big piece of wood.
No, the bundle itself, let's assume you have a number of small twigs that you want to dispose of. As long as the twigs are no longer than 4 feet in length and the bundle itself doesn't exceed 2 feet in diameter, they'll pick it up. If you have more twigs than that, you need to create another bundle.
Thank you for explaining that. That means bundle, not individual piece. Thank you.
That's correct.
Alderman Wesley?
Mayor, I just have one question. If they use this garbage can 95 and they fill it up and they decide to pull one of those old ones out of the closet or the garage, they are still going to pick that up?
We're still going to pick that up.
Okay.
If it becomes a continual issue, then they'll need to call ARC and and rent another toter, another
Here's the
container.
thing, I had a resident call me the other day and says he puts out 6 garbage cans and he refuses to use these garbage cans at all. So are we going to tell this guy, you don't refuse and we aren't going to pick up your garbage?
To the best of their ability, we're going to work with the residents. The objective behind going to this new system is, from the company's point of view, it saves on labor costs because the trucks are automated. From our point of view, it is an environmental benefit because you don't have a lot of waste just sitting out there. And I think Jeff will make a note. We'll talk to ARC people about that. We've done that from time to time. That's why there's a note in these frequently asked questions. If you need another one on a consistent basis, you're going to need to let them know, and you'll need to rent that. But, obviously, if you have a party over Labor Day, they're going to pick that
But
up.
I'm just saying, a resident called me and says they don't want any of these garbage cans at all. They want to continue to use their own. Now, how do you handle that? Or I'm just going to refer them to your office and you could deal with it.
Refer them to Jeff, and Jeff will take care of it.
Okay.
Alderman, please.
Wally, you just said rent, the second one. Is it just for the second one, or is the first one being rented?
No. The first two, the garbage and recyclables, the one for garbage and the one for recyclables are free. If it turns out that you need another one on a continual basis, you can request it, but there's going to be a small nominal monthly rental to handle that. But we don't expect a lot of those. I think that's going to be very much the exception rather than the rule. As a matter of fact, the comments we've gotten so far, and this follows up on Alderman Shockey's comment, is that some of our senior citizens have already called us saying, I'm not going to be able to haul this 95-gallon toter around. I'm just fine with my 30-gallon, and we'll accommodate that and change them out.
Me personally, I bought 2 of the big ones. Now, I don't use them all the time. I may have both of them out there maybe, 10, 12 weeks a year. So you're telling me that now the residents, and some of the residents, Gene says he's got a guy that's got 6 cans. So now he's going to have to rent the second one? Or he's going to... Why should he rent? Why can't he just use what he's using?
Well, that sort of defeats the purpose of an automated truck and an automated system, is that the whole objective is to cut down on manpower, cut down on workers' comp claims by allowing a one-person truck to handle this without getting out of the cab and trying to haul all this stuff and dispose of it, individually.
Right, and when we went through all this, we cut down on their manpower, their liability claims, and we signed a 7-year contract, which I voted against, which they're getting all the cuts, and we got the 3.8 increase per year. This contract was garbage from the beginning, and
So to speak.
it's getting worse now.
Well, I mean, as we talked about this when we talked about this the last time we discussed the negotiation, our rates over the past 4 or 5 years have been running between 4 and 5% a year under the old franchise. Under this franchise, the first year's rates will be frozen, and if you amortize it over the life of the 7 years, it's going to be 3.8%, which is less historically than what we've been paying before. And again, you know, we've got 1,500 some accounts in the city, and we've been vigilant in trying to anticipate as many questions as we can that may come up about this, and as many issues that need to be resolved. And I've mentioned to each of you, some of you individually, this is not going to be completely seamless. It's not going to be without some glitches. Anytime you do something of this magnitude, there's going to be a bump in the road and a hiccup, and we're going to do what we can to try and resolve those as quickly and as efficiently as we can. But, you know, don't expect it to be perfect. I mean, just to go back to what was the easy one, which was transitioning from a Monday to a Tuesday collection, I went out there the first week, and there were probably 50% of the people in the Tuesday area that had put their garbage cans out on Monday. And the next week, it was probably down to 20%, and the following week, it was down to near zero. And it was just a function of, you know, getting used to the new program. This is going to be more difficult. We've got all hands on board trying to make it as seamless as we can.
Alderman Cadella.
Yeah, Alderman Police wasn't the only one that voted against this contract. I did too. And I also remember very clearly that evening, I think it was Allied at the time, or whatever the company's name was before they got bought out or changed. Question was asked to the rep, 2 questions. They were answered very clearly. One is, we'll still pick up the old style garbage cans as necessary. Nothing was said about a complete 100% transition, at least not at the public meeting. And something else that I'm reading in here about the thing that Alderman Lewitton pointed out, the brush being bundled. I had a problem with that, discussed it with the rep before the meeting, brought it up again in the meeting. And there too, he said, we will continue wherever necessary to run off of our old standards. So if you guys are using, if residents are using garbage cans and putting their brush in there, as long as it doesn't exceed 4 feet in length, we're going to continue to pick it up. So I don't know how official this document is that I'm just seeing tonight for the first time. I think I'm seeing it tonight for the first time. And I don't know, you know, I guess we'll see how it goes with a potential refusal to pick up, you know, non-toter style garbage cans. But I pretty clearly remember both of those being addressed in different ways than we're discussing them tonight. So, Wally, on your thought of nipping the problem in the bud and dealing with it right away, you know, as it comes up and jumping on it, maybe before it actually comes up, we can get a clarification and strong arm this company if necessary into saying, you know what, you're going to have some residents that aren't going to comply, and you're going to deal with it. At least that would be my recommendation, because I never liked the contract to begin with either, for a few other reasons as well. I really don't want to take phone calls from disgruntled residents on an issue that I completely agree with them in the first place. Thank you.
Alderman Wesley.
Wally, how much is a rental for these?
I don't have that offhand. I'll have to get back to you on that.
Okay, I thought that was an important question. Say my garbage can gets stolen. Does this mean I have to rent one then?
No, if you look at this brochure, if your garbage can gets stolen, if it gets damaged, broken, they'll replace it at no charge.
Okay. And I'm sure we solved the problem with the logos.
Yes, we did.
Okay. Thank you.
Alderman, please.
Yeah, one more question. I know a couple people that bought 2 of those containers like myself. I don't think they bought the same size. They might have bought a big one and a small one. So now that they have 2, and I heard that whoever bought the toters is going to get reimbursed, whatever they paid. Does that mean now that they have 2, the second one automatically they're going to start getting charged rent for that second one?
No, No, the first two are free. And if you bought
No, no, no.
yours, and if you bought yours already, we've got you in the database and we'll credit your account against the amount that you bought them for.
Not for me specifically. I
Anyone.
know a couple of neighbors. He has a 95 and a 65. But they're both garbage and not recycling. You're talking two toters, one recycling, one garbage. So is he gonna get a bill for that 65-gallon rental every month? Because when he comes to me, I wanna know, I have an answer to tell him, yes or no.
No, if they've got one, I mean, they're gonna take the inventory that we've got, and if they've got two green cans, 195 and 165, now the recycling toters are gonna be 10. So we'll change out, we'll take his 65 green can away, we'll give him a brand-new 65-gallon tan cart at no charge.
He doesn't want to get rid of his 65 gallon because he asked me about it. Now, we were talking, and I go, no, you're going to get reimbursed, and they're going to give you one for recycling.
Anybody who purchased 2 containers originally is grandfathered in. They don't get charged an extra rental cost.
That's for sure. He's not going to get a bill, and he's going to come, because I told him, no, you're not going to get charged. Okay. All right.
All right, anything further? If not, that brings us to the consent agenda. Is there any objections to any items on the consent agenda? If not, may I have a motion to approve the agenda? Is there a second? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, motion carries. Now may I have a motion to approve the items on the agenda, being approval of a letter of credit release to Florina Court, adoption of an ordinance amending ordinance 009008 regarding the budget, approval of a purchase vehicle to replace 469, approval of purchase vehicle to replace 300, approval of pay request number 2, approval of pay request number 3, approval of Oak and Avenue Potter Street water main replacement change order number 2, and approval of amendment to engineering contract award for Engineering Resource Associates. Is there such a motion? Is there a second? Roll call.
Alderman R. Wesley?
Yes.
Alderman Winger?
Yes.
Alderman Lewitton?
Yes.
Alderman Cadella?
Yes.
Alderman Shockey?
Yes.
Alderman E. Wesley?
Yes.
Alderman Police?
Yes.
Those items pass. Item 2 is approved as ordinance O-10-11. That brings us to committee chairman reports, planning and zoning and building. Alderman Cadella.
One item, Mr. Mayor, I'd like to make a motion to approve an ordinance amending the amortization schedule contained in Article 9, the sign code of the City of Wooddale.
Is there a second
Second.
on the question? Roll call.
Alderman R. Wesley?
Yes.
Alderman Winger?
Yes.
Alderman Lewitton?
I can't vote.
Is that a recusal or an
That's
abstention?
a recusal. Say the word.
Abstention?
No, recuse.
He's not voting.
We got it.
Alderman Cadella?
Yes.
Alderman Shockey?
Yes.
Alderman E. Wesley?
Yes.
Alderman Police?
Yes.
That's approved as ordinance O-10-12.
That concludes my report.
Public Health, Safety, and Judiciary, Alderman Shockey.
No report, Mr. Mayor.
Public
No
Works,
report,
Alderman
Mayor.
Wesley. Finance Administration, Alderman Winger.
I have no report.
I do not have anything under other business. That brings us to bills. Alderman Winger.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. I'm going to make a series of 2 motions. First being, I'd make a motion to approve a list of bills dated August 19, 2010 for $480,000, $180.85.
Is there a second
Second.
on the question? Alderman Wesley.
Mr. Mayor, could I ask that list of bills be approved separate instead of one motion?
They are.
I think she just did.
Yeah, she just said that.
Oh, she said she was going to make both of them at once. Okay. It's fine. Thank you.
Sure.
Anything further on the question?
No.
Roll call.
Alderman R. Wesley?
Yes.
Alderman Winger?
Yes.
Alderman Lewitton?
Yes.
Alderman Cadella?
Yes.
Alderman Shockey?
Yes.
Alderman E. Wesley?
Yes.
Alderman Police?
Yes.
That passes.
My second motion is to approve a list of bills dated September 2nd, 2010, and there is a revised amount from the revised agenda, and that amount in the motion is $661,735.23.
Is there a second? On the question? Alderman Wesley.
Mayor, on page number 5, the page Water Commissioner, water debit service was $9,423.40. Could someone explain that one to me?
Mr. Wilson?
I know we got paid for the water. Is this a bill that, because they were a shortfall, now we have to pay more money?
No, that's actually on every water commission bill. That's the debt service that we pay for actually having installed the infrastructure from back when we first established the connection with the DuPage Water Commission. So that's actually on pretty much every bill that we pay. That's the debt service on the bonds that were issued to help connect us to the Lake Michigan water initially.
Well, I apologize for that. I did not know that. Mayor, I have one more.
Alderman Wesley?
Page number 15, stamp concrete that we did out here for $4,500. I am asking that bill not to be paid until Friday, until the building department goes out there and remeasure the bricks, that it's handicap accessible. We had a problem with that before. I made a motion before, take it totally off the bills payable. I understand they came out, the last memo I got, that they corrected the problem, and is all they did is seal it, and that's the last memo I got. I never got a memo saying that the concrete was grind down and it's all done, for wheelchairs could get over in that. So I'm asking that bill be hold until the building department inspects it and meets the requirement that is required for a handicap. So I'm asking that be pulled until Friday to be paid.
Staff has that direction. Anything further? Alderman Wesley?